You know, this whole thing happening with Elon Musk and Twitter reminds me of, I think it was Mike Tyson who had that line where he said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
At a rally in Wisconsin on Sunday for the Republican candidate in the state Supreme Court race, Elon Musk said it's important to have children because the birth rate is declining and added, quote, kids will make you very happy. At least the idea of them will. You know, just knowing you've got 14 or 15 out there somewhere just can really warm your heart.
Elon Musk just found out the hard way that comedy doesn't come with an edit tweet button. Trevor Noah and Seth Meyers tag-teamed the billionaire like it was WrestleMania, except instead of body slams, it was punchlines. Now Elon's out here tweeting like a guy who just got roasted at his own birthday party. What did they say that sent him spiraling? And why does it involve space, sarcasm, and a painfully awkward laugh? Stick around. This meltdown is pure gold.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be blunt here. Elon Musk is running Twitter into the ground. And it's the best Twitter's ever been. Are you kidding me? Huh? Fake LeBron leaving LA, Mario flipping the bird, huh? George Bush telling us how he really feels. The thing is an absolute train wreck, and I'm here for it. The only reason we know that that wasn't the real Mario was because Mario would never flip someone the bird. He's Italian. Come on. Yeah, he'd probably do this, right? Or this. It's like, hey, Cooper, tell your mother I said hello, huh? But who knows? Who knows? Maybe all of this verified, real, fake people on Twitter chaos is actually part of Elon's plan. Yeah, maybe this is what he's doing on purpose. Soon no one will know a real account from a fake account. And then he'll be like, guys, did you see someone impersonated me and spent $44 billion on Twitter? That was crazy.
Elon Musk, the man who believes he's destined to live forever, either through space travel or by uploading his consciousness into a fleet of Teslas, just met his match. Two late-night comedians with a gift for roasting people who think they're untouchable. But let's be real here. When you're Elon Musk, you don't just get roasted. Oh no, you get flamed, and then you get left to slowly simmer in the leftovers of your own embarrassment. And that's exactly what happened when Trevor Noah and Seth Meyers took their shots.
This is a damn shame. What happened to Elon Musk? He went from, I'm going to send humankind to Mars, to, I just want to help 16 people get to the airport. That's all I want to do. I feel like this is the opposite of invention. He took a car and stuck it to a train track. What's next? I've replaced the engine with a horse. But just to be clear, no one is laughing at you, Elon. No one is laughing. We are not laughing at you. Yeah, no, because guys, I've seen movies. Every time the supervillain shows up to destroy the world, the first thing he says is, they all laughed at me. Well, who's laughing now? We are not laughing. So Elon Musk, please don't destroy the world. We would love to go to the airport underground.
Now let's rewind for a second. Elon Musk, the walking, talking infomercial for buying power, had long prided himself on being untouchable. The man with the answers to all of life's biggest problems: electric cars, interplanetary travel, Neuralink brain implants, and of course, Twitter. This guy walks into a room and suddenly everyone is supposed to start thinking about the future like he's a modern-day Nostradamus, only instead of prophecies, he delivers memes and tweets like there's some kind of gospel. But then, Trevor Noah happened.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put it out there. If he's handling Twitter like this, I don't know how comfortable I would be going with this dude to Mars, you know? Yeah, I don't want Elon walking into my cabin one day like, hey guys, turns out I accidentally fired the team that was bringing the oxygen, but we'll be fine if we just stop breathing for 69 months.
That's right, President Trump and Elon Musk posed for photos with several Tesla vehicles yesterday at the White House. Just an incredible photo. This looks like the parking lot at a San Francisco divorce court.
Trevor Noah's entire existence is like one long, perfectly executed roast, where he dissects the flaws of the powerful, the wealthy, and the absurd with the surgical precision of a stand-up comic who moonlights as an interrogator for the fun of it. He's basically the kind of guy who could roast your grandmother and you'd find yourself laughing, because he's just that good at making you realize you were wrong about her casserole recipe.
Because now it feels like Elon Musk is just like scrambling, making it up as he goes along, which I get. You've spent $44 billion for a company that most people say shouldn't be more than worth like 20-something billion. You're gonna scramble, you know? And he's trying everything. What's amazing to me is like what's happening with Elon Musk is a wonderful microcosm to show you how much or how quickly people will abandon what they say is a principle when things aren't going their way.
So, Trevor Noah, a man who was almost too good at skewering people in power, went after Musk. And it wasn't pretty. The man didn't just take Musk to task on his entrepreneurial wizardry. No, he went for the soul. The guy practically dissected Musk's entire existence like he was peeling back the layers of a sad, self-aware onion. And you have to love how Trevor Noah does it. There's no frantic punchiness, no over-the-top theatrics, just a calm, deliberate roast, as though he's asking a toddler why they decided to wear their spaghetti as a hat. But this wasn't just any toddler, this was Elon Musk, and his spaghetti hat moment had nothing to do with food. No, this was about an empire, billions of dollars, and a very public meltdown on Twitter. But then, of course, just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Seth Meyers, the man who would roast you with a smile so cold it could freeze your entire stock portfolio, decided to join in. And let's be honest, Seth Meyers doesn't need a crowd to be funny. He just needs a target. And Musk, dear reader, was just begging to be the punchline. The way Seth delivered his jabs, you'd think he was having dinner with Musk and just casually slipping in backhanded compliments about how Musk's brainchild, Twitter, was really becoming a beacon of democracy. I mean, who else could pretend to be a hero and a villain at the same time without breaking a sweat?
You can't get, oh my God, you let him do you a favor and now you can't get rid of him. You got cable guyed by Elon Musk. Every time you look out that little keyhole, he's gonna be there. I'll tell you this much, if I was worth $400 billion, I would not spend all of my free time with Donald Trump. I would do a jack, At most, I get high and watch videos all day like that dramatic chipmunk.
Meyers didn't just point out Musk's disastrous tweet storms. No, he took a scalpel to the narrative of Musk's public persona, tearing apart the very essence of what makes Musk so Musk. It's one thing to ridicule someone for a bad hair day. It's another to call out the man who literally owns the space he's trying to escape to. And yet, that's exactly what Meyers did. He called out Musk for being a walking contradiction, a billionaire with more projects than he can keep track of, each one just slightly less successful than the last one. Tesla? Maybe. SpaceX question mark? We'll see. Twitter? Well, that's a dumpster fire with an open invite to anyone who's ever used the word free speech on the internet. What made these roasts so effective, though, wasn't just that they were funny, but that they exposed Musk's insecurity. And let's talk about that for a second. Elon Musk, the supposed genius with more money than any of us could ever fathom, is clearly so sensitive about how he's perceived. If there's one thing we've learned, it's that Musk doesn't handle ridicule well, especially when it comes from comedians who don't give a damn about his billions.
In the election, Elon Musk was riding high. I mean, he wasn't literally riding high. He was riding an inch above both feet on the ground. Still, post-election, his net worth soared, his company's stock prices ballooned. He wasn't just hailing victory, he was hiling it. He was featured prominently at the inauguration, and he was a star among the MAGA crowd.
And you can really tell, because instead of shrugging it off like a confident tech mogul, Musk did what any billionaire would do when they realize they've just been humiliated. He took to Twitter, and this, folks, was where things got extra messy. Musk didn't try to be self-aware. No, he decided that the best course of action was to send out a flurry of tweets that were half apologies and half defensive rants, like a man who's trying to buy back his dignity with a Tesla purchase but doesn't have the right credit score to do it. It was like watching a toddler cry over spilled milk, but instead of milk, it was his reputation. And let's not forget, this wasn't just any toddler. This was a grown man with the kind of ego that would make the Grand Canyon feel cramped. But there he was, trying to defend himself in 280 characters or less. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. He didn't exactly walk away from this one with his head held high. In fact, after all that tweeting, his stock value probably dropped just a little bit more, if it weren't for the fact that the only thing more volatile than his shares is his Twitter account.
I think social media dramatically changed our perception of where people sit in reality. It gave us a flattened view of people because that's what gets the algorithm, it's what ropes us in. So I will see the worst of you because the worst of you is what inflames me the most. Or I'll only see the best of you because it attaches me to you. But the nuance it's boring. And they show you this with the algorithms. Like if you sit down with the engineers, they'll show you, if somebody writes, it's a lovely day outside, it'll go nowhere. If you say best day ever, it goes somewhere. And if you say worst day ever, it goes somewhere.
And let's talk about the tweets themselves. Musk's first move was to post something along the lines of, "I'm just a guy who's trying to make the world better." Yeah, because nothing screams I'm winning like trying to convince people that you're doing humanity a favor by launching your car into space and creating a social media site that makes Reddit look like a beacon of civility. But the best part wasn't even the tweet itself. Oh no, it was the replies. Because Musk, clearly not understanding the optics of his own actions, replied to every criticism as though it was a personal attack on the moon landing itself. You could practically hear him screaming, "You're just jealous," through his carefully crafted Twitter replies. Musk could have just let it go, ignored the jokes, moved on with his billion-dollar life, and continued his quest to conquer the universe. But no, instead, he fell into the trap of needing to have the last word. And in doing so, he made himself an even bigger joke. It's the age-old story. The more you defend yourself against a roast, the worse the burn gets. And Musk? He was now just that guy who can't stop talking about how rich he is while ignoring the fact that the rest of us are over here like, "Great, but you still haven't figured out how to run a Twitter account without getting called out every 5 minutes."
Please tell me he didn't do that. He sounds like an 8-year-old playing with action figures. Immediately after that clip, his mom called down from the kitchen and said it was dinner time. "Not now, Mom. Wolverine is about to use his adamantium claws to destroy Medicare." Claws! I'm Wolverine!
So now, here's the million-dollar question. What's next for Musk? Is this his low point? Probably not. This is a man who has survived worse public fiascos, so expect him to bounce back, maybe with a new shiny toy or some self-congratulatory tweet that'll make him feel better about losing the roast. But it's clear that something shifted here. Elon Musk, the invincible CEO, the internet provocateur, the man who once made us think that space was just a playground for billionaires, has now become the subject of a great meme. And if you've learned anything about Elon Musk, it's that he can handle a rocket exploding in his face, but a good old-fashioned comedy roast, that'll leave him reeling. Let's be honest, Musk will probably try to brush this off, maybe even tweet a snarky comment about how comedians don't understand the future of technology. But deep down, we know it's eating him alive. Because when you're a guy who thinks he's out here changing the world and someone makes you the punchline, that's a roast that sticks. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why no one's ever too big to be roasted. Even Elon Musk, the billionaire with a space-bound ego, can't escape the fury of comedians who are really, really good at calling out the absurdity of it all. So, Musk may not be done, but we sure are. For now, at least.
Go head-to-head with a South African party ghost who's worth $400 billion and yet can't seem to hire one person who might tell him, "Hey, maybe don't wear the cheese head." Usually when you hear cheese and Musk in the same sentence, it's because somebody left the camembert out overnight. And that was tonight's joke for cheesemongers. Is exactly what Elon Musk would look like to Donald Trump if they were stranded on a desert island for 3 days without any food. I have a plan, Donald. I think I can fashion a canoe out of that felled palm tree. I also have a plan. I knock you out with a coconut and then eat your delicious head.
And here's the part that really makes this entire roast-a-thon hit like a Falcon Heavy on full boost. The timing. Oh yes, the comedic gods were smiling because these roasts didn't just land. They crash-landed smack in the middle of Musk's hyperactive, "I'm saving humanity one tweet at a time" era. The man was juggling more chaos than a caffeinated octopus, between trying to shoot billionaires into orbit with SpaceX, playing landlord to Twitter like it was his own digital Hunger Games, and casually threatening to implant chips into people's brains via Neuralink. Elon was already the center of every conversation. So when Trevor and Seth decided to step in and say, "You know what? Let's toss a few jokes on this blazing PR bonfire," the moment was ripe. It was peak Musk mania, and everyone was watching. But what made it work so perfectly wasn't just timing, it was how masterfully these roasts stripped away Elon's Teflon-coated tech bro armor. They didn't go for the obvious, like his weird child-naming skills or his love affair with cyberpunk aesthetics. No, they went for the real stuff. The contradiction-laced nonsense, the free speech warrior who silences journalists, the electric car messiah who can't stop crashing his own credibility. They highlighted Musk's uncanny ability to be a walking paradox, an emperor with no clothes but lots of tweets about Dogecoin. It was like watching someone do stand-up while slowly unscrewing the bolts on a robot pretending to be human. And oh, the ego. Let's not pretend this isn't the same man who casually refers to himself as a genius while panic tweeting in real time about fake accounts. Musk's ego is so big it has its own gravitational pull, and yet here he was, completely unprepared for two comedians with zero fear and even fewer filters. It was like watching a billionaire cosplay as a philosopher king, only to get dunked on by guys who professionally live for calling out hubris. And that's why this was such a cultural moment. For once, Musk wasn't the puppet master pulling strings and trolling the world. He was the one on stage, squirming under the spotlight, watching as the crowd laughed at him, not with him. And honestly, the public ate it up like popcorn at a Tesla recall hearing, and just like that, the sheen started to crack. Musk, the untouchable Iron Man knockoff with a rocket fetish, suddenly looked human. Not in a warm, fuzzy way, more like the kind of human who tweets memes at 3 a.m. while spiraling into an existential crisis because someone made a clever joke about his satellite empire. Public perception took a sharp left. The myth of the flawless innovator gave way to the reality of a man who can launch rockets into space but can't dodge a punchline. And boy, was he vulnerable. All the billions in the world couldn't buy him a sense of humor. Watching Elon respond to jokes with the emotional grace of a malfunctioning Roomba was almost poetic. Imagine Iron Man, but instead of repulsor blasts, he just angrily subtweets comedians. Sad. So, what's next? Will Elon embrace the mockery like the chaotic internet goblin he's always claimed to be, or is he gearing up for a full-blown Twitter war with anyone holding a mic? Don't be surprised if he tries to launch a comedy correction division at X, where every joke must be approved by his ego before publication.